Greetings, everyone. I just wanted to take a quick moment to go over a couple of things with you. The first thing that I wanted to discuss is how to customize Chat GPT for your use case at any given time. And there's a couple of ways that we do this. We've talked about prompting and the ways that in an individual chat, you can adjust the behavior of Chat GPT. Well, in this video, I want to show you guys how to really fine tune it for general usage on a day-to-day basis, but then also how to customize it for projects. So let's jump right in. Give me just a moment. I'm going to share my screen with you, and then we'll take it from there. All righty. So what you should see now is the ChatGPT welcome page. All right, this is the basic setup. As you can see, mine is in developer mode. You don't necessarily have to do that, but there's a few things that I'm beta testing that we'll talk about in another video. So the first thing I want you to notice is down here in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see your name and your account type. So we're going to click that. The next thing we're going to click is personalization. Now, from here, there's a lot of ways to customize how your ChatGPT interface works with you. One of the first things you'll notice is that you do have to enable customization. So if it's off, none of this will matter. All right. In this case, we're going to turn it on. From there, you can select a ChatGPT personality. Personally, I like the default one, which is cheerful and adaptive. There's the cynic, the robot, the listener, which can be great for working through like personal challenges that you want to discuss, where it can be very supportive. And then the nerd is exploratory and enthusiastic. So these are different choices that kind of shape how the LLM is going to respond to you. Now, from there, you can input custom instructions. All right. Me, I prefer it to be very direct. So I have it programmed to tell it like it is. Don't sugarcoat responses and get right to the point. I want direct answers, and I don't need a lot of support and a lot of encouragement. I just want to know the reality of the situation so that I can move on. The other thing that I have set up is I have a nickname so that as we interact, ChatGPT has a name to call me. Remember, we talked about treating ChatGPT or any of these other generative AIs kind of like a partner, and that's what we're going to do here. So for me, I have a call me Matt. It asks me my occupation. By trade, I'm an operations director. I roll out tech stacks. So that's kind of the focus. And then more about you. You can customize that with interest values or preferences. I don't use that too much. The other thing that is interesting is memory. I think this is important. We want ChatGPT to save and use memories when responding. So if I tell the model something, like I'm working on a project or preferences that I have, I want it to be able to reference that. So I want it to be able to go back to all of our previous conversations and link all of that data together. Okay. Now, the other thing that's important, reference record history. It lets ChatGPT reference all previous recording transcripts and notes when responding. This is the same thing, only really for when you're using voice mode. So these are all things that I have on. In the advanced field, I want web search, right? ChatGPT is historically trained off of older information that was on the internet, but now they've enabled it so that it can search the web for answers in real time as well and provide references to that. Now, the reason why I think this is important is while Perplexity, I think, is a much better research assistant, this brings a lot of that functionality into ChatGPT, greatly improving the results that you're going to get. Code is, if you're going to be doing some coding, I do a little bit, not a ton, but I do enough. And then collaborate with ChatGPT on text and code. So Canvas is a model, and I'll show you. It's actually kind of a view where you can go in and actually interact with whatever ChatGPT is building for you. So especially if you're working in code or things like that, I can go in and edit the code manually. The other final checkbox there is advanced voice. Now, advanced voice is designed to give you more natural conversations when you're using voice mode so that you can really go back and forth in a natural manner. So these are just some of the preferences and personalization tools that I like to recommend. The next thing I want to talk about is connectors. Now, I know connectors were a little bit of a challenge, and that's okay. Chat GPT is a little bit more limited than some of the other options when it comes to connectors. This is something that they really only started rolling out about a month and a half ago. Now, you have the option to do custom connectors, and I'll show you an example of how that works. This one was one that I put together, and it should be body spec. But what I did was I imported all of my DEXA scan results. I'm currently on a fitness journey, trying to get some form of fitness back in this body. And what I wanted to do was have a base point, put together a strategy and a plan, and pull all of the data that's gained in a DEXA scan and be able to analyze it with the AI tool. I'll show you how we did that in another video. But this is one of the connectors that I enabled. And this one actually requires me to be in developer mode because it links to a custom MCP portal. So the next one that you'll see is Google Drive, right? Everyone knows what Google Drive is. It's pretty ubiquitous. But one of the things that's cool about it is anything that I have in my Google Drive, ChatGPT can reference. So this will make things a little bit easier. This allows me to go ahead and access information from certain files or documents. And I'll show you guys a little bit more about how to do that. You see some other common connectors that are already in place and set up where you really just have to sign in with your account. You'll see Outlook Calendar, Outlook Mail. You'll also see Teams, SharePoint, Notion, Google Contacts, HubSpot, Linear, Google Calendar, Gmail, GitHub, Box, Canva, and Dropbox. So these are pretty common ones. A competitor or another model such as Claude is going to have quite a few more options. And if you install the desktop version of something like Cloud, it'll be able to interact with your actual desktop computer and your operating system. So it's a little bit more engaged. So depending on what your use case is, Claude in some situations is better integrated into like apps and workflows versus web-based tools. ChatGPT has really been focused on so far and pulling information in. A couple of other things we're going to talk about. Schedules. This is where, and I wiped mine out for the purpose of this demonstration, but ChatGPT can be scheduled to run after it completes a task. So what you're able to do is build routines for yourself where every day at this time, it's going to pull this information. This is great for building certain workflows, but it really is something that you want to get comfortable with before we start doing it, and we can definitely do that if any of you are interested in that. The next thing is going to be orders. This is a new feature that just came out with ChatGPT, where Shopify is now integrated into AI. This is going to be interesting because now people can buy directly through ChatGPT. This is going to change the way that a lot of businesses work. We're seeing talk about it in the automotive space, and a ton of retailers are now looking at it as a way for customers to buy and customize their experience directly through ChatGPT. So a tool like ChatGPT historically was thought of as a chatbot, but now its abilities and capabilities are really expanding. So definitely something to watch, definitely something to be aware of. Now, the next thing that you're going to see is going to be data controls. So when you look at data controls, this I think is really important to understand. I can be a very private person at times, so I like to make sure that everyone else has these same resources and tools. So data controls improve the model for everyone. This means your content is going to be used to train our models, which makes ChatGPT better for you and everyone who uses it. Personally, I've restricted voice recordings and audio recordings. Now, a couple of things that I vacillate on is whether I want to participate in model improvement or not. This model improvement or this ChatGPT account that I use, this one I'm okay improving content with everyone because I'm very particular about what I input here. But you have an option, and I would strongly recommend each of you giving some thought to whether or not or how you want to protect your information and the information that you put into this. Remote browser data, this is another option. This is agent mode, and we haven't talked about that yet, but agent mode's remote browser can reuse cookies between sessions. I have that enabled for a reason. You can also look at some of your shared links. You can look at archive chats. You can archive all your chats. You can delete all your chats, and you can export your data. from here. So these are just some of the things that I think are really important for everyone to kind of get a feel for. If you have any questions on this, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. One last thing, you can play around with appearance settings, the theme, it's going to match your system. Accent colors, you can change that. The language, you can change that. And of course, you can adjust the voice. You can also show additional models that are available depending on your use case. With the advent of Chat GPT 5 or the launch of it, it kind of restricted the ability to see other additional models with some backlash. So it's now an option where you can choose additional models. Now, the next thing I want to discuss, we'll talk about projects in just a moment, but I want to talk about custom GPTs. GPTs are versions of Chat GPT that combine particular instructions, extra knowledge, and any combination of skills. And I think these are really important because this will help you expand the skill set of Chat GPT, but also fine tune it for your use case. Couple of examples. One that I really like is the photorealistic image and video generator. I think this is an important one because you're able to generate images based off of text. This is designed to kind of go up against Google's Nano Banana, but it's a little bit more detailed and really specializes in making photorealistic images. This can be great for like marketing and things like that. Couple of other things. Where's the one I like? TurboScribe. If you guys have seen all the captions on our videos, I use TurboScribe for pretty much all of it. It's a transcription tool so that I can do the recordings and then upload into TurboScribe. It transcripts everything, and then from there I'm able to upload it with the appropriate videos. So if you guys have any questions on GPTs, I encourage you to try playing around with it. Find one, and I think you'll find because they're customized, you'll find that they have really unique skill sets and specializations. And that, I think, is a huge benefit because then it magnifies the capabilities of ChatGPT by giving you fine-tuned instructions tailored to what you're trying to accomplish. So increasingly, as ChatGPT grows, we have to realize that it's more of a canvas. It's more of a platform with absolutely amazing capabilities that allow you to really fine-tune and get access to skill levels that historically took years to master. So utilizing it and understanding how to fine-tune it to your use case is extremely important and extremely beneficial. We'll stop here. We'll talk about projects in the next video. Thanks so much, guys.